Let's go. They've got everything. Everything caravan and camping. They've got everything.
Yeah, g'day team, and welcome to our Everything Caravan and Camping podcast, sponsored by ECC Parks. My name's Scott Hillier from Channel 7, and each week we're going to take you to a different destination around this great country of ours. We're going to get you there safe with our Weight and Towing Masterclasses. We've got tech tips. We're going to chat to influencers, and we're also going to chat to you, the listeners. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear your questions. We're going to have a bit of a laugh with our Caravan Park Confessions, and every week we're going to chat to the greatest chef ever given an open fire and a set of tongs, none other than Harry Fisher from Fire to Fork. I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Come on.
Now, ECC, it's a 24/7 marketplace for all things caravanning, camping and four-wheel driving. With more than 10,000 products available from hundreds of popular brands, you'll find everything you need for your next outdoor adventure. Don't forget, subscribe to the newsletter and save a further 10% off the best brands, products and prices. They're only a click away.
Come on. Let's go. Everything caravan and camping.
Okay, hope you're enjoying this, our Everything Caravan and Camping podcast. It is time for our Weight and Towing Masterclass, and we bring back the great Dave Lewis. How are you, brother?
Good, thanks, Scotty. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Away fishing again, I see.
Not as much fishing this week. We've done a couple of caravanning trips, so it's been good. And on Creek to Coasters, we love to get out and about and give people ideas that are keen to get out and explore different areas. So we, in conjunction with Caravan in Queensland, we go away, and a few other vendors as well.
Fantastic.
So, best job ever. I get paid to zip around the country. How good am I going?
Oh, you are. I did see you sleeping in a swag somewhere just recently.
Yeah, that's I know. I've got to rough it sometimes. The big question people ask me when they see me set up a swag, they say, do you really sleep in that swag? What do you reckon?
That was the question I was going to put to you.
Let's just say if there's a nice comfortable bed within a 30 to 40k radius, I may go and sleep in that now and then. But look, enough about me. It's all about you, Dave. Yep. And as I said, the response to our Weight and Towing Masterclass, going gangbusters. People are loving all the information. Good one today, statistics. Over the past 6 years, the percentage of vans that you've weighed that have been overweight, your worst cases, can it be fixed? Yep. It's a big question. A lot of people asking about it. Let's talk.
Yeah, it is, Scotty. And like our database, we keep records, obviously, of all our weighing that we do. And it shows basically what's been happening over the last 6 years. So back in 2017 when we started, around about 53%, so more than half the caravans we weighed exceeded one of their compliance ratings. In other words, they were overweight. And as far as cars go, it was only around about 25%, roughly, thereabouts.
Yep.
So that was in 2017. Go forward 6 years, this last financial year just finished, the number of caravans we saw overweight was 31%.
Good.
Nearly half. So what do you take out of that? I suppose that there's a lot more awareness now of weight compliance, and people are more likely to go and get their caravan weighed and check it, and if it is overweight, work out a way of fixing it. So we went from 53% that first year back down to 31%. The cars have remained about the same, around 26 to 30% of the vehicles we weigh are overweight. But what people must realise is that we've got to be under all those ratings, but it's just every part of it's 99.9% of it fixable.
Yeah, there you go. And I guess when you hook up to a caravan, you've got this massive 3-ton machine behind you.
Yep.
It's nerve-wracking. So doing all of these pre-checks, chatting to guys like yourself, it's all about peace of mind, isn't it? And if you get everything right, there's no reason you won't get to your destination safely. You're going to get home safely. We want you, hopefully listening to this podcast, to just know you've done everything in your power. Everything's perfect. Off you go.
That's right, mate. That is exactly right. And all these people that we weigh that are overweight, I would just say, no, like I say, 99% of them is fixable. We've done in excess of 2,000 caravan and car combinations. So that equates to about 4,500 individual ways of a car and a caravan. So when you look at it, the numbers stand out that people are getting the message and they are looking at how they can fix it. And more importantly, it's probably a really big road safety message there as far as there's so many more people in caravans on the road these days. We've seen the last with COVID, 3.5 years, how many caravans have actually been purchased and are out on the road there now. I've seen some shockers, but most of it's fixable. I've seen caravans that are 400 kilos overweight, cars that are with boats on the top that are 600 kilos overweight. But again, it's relatively easy to fix most of it. Just to know where you are to start with.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, mate. As you said, there are so many more RVs on the roads these days, and I guess in the next few years you'd like to see that number drop, even possibly halve again, Dave.
Yeah, it is. We work closely with Caravan in Queensland, and Jason Plant, the CEO of Caravan in Queensland, quite often has a chat to us around these numbers. And when you look at the numbers on the database and you see these changes, then it's good that some of the stuff we do with Caravan in Queensland is all about road safety. It's all about pushing this weight-wise caravanning, as we call it. Yeah. So to make sure that the most important thing is you're hurtling down the road with a combination that could be between 6 and 6.5 tonne. We want to make sure that everything's going to operate right, and basically you've got to load it correctly to make sure that it does.
Look at you go. Absolute legend. And Dave, if people want to catch up with yourself or get their van and vehicle weighed, they can do it easily. Tell us how.
Yeah, Scotty. Website mobilecaravanweighing.com.au. Phone number 0477897700. I'm in Brisbane. We've got John at the Gold Coast, Paul at Coffs Harbour, Shane in Darwin, and another Shane in Toowoomba. So we cover a pretty big area. Give us a call on that number and I can put you in contact with the boys.
Look at you. You're everywhere. You're everywhere, Dave. You're like a rash. You're everywhere. And if you've got any questions, we are going to have our question time here on our podcast. You can contact myself, podcast at Everything Caravan. As per usual, Dave Lewis, absolute pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, Scotty. Talk to you soon.
Okay, it's that time of the podcast for our tech tip with the great Charlie, and he's in studio with me.
Yeah, mate, we've come down. I thought we should make this a little bit more professional.
This is a little bit exciting. How you been, mate?
Been going great, and I've been seeing the podcast explode, and I was like, it's got to start sounding a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I love it. So obviously you do our tech tips every week. You're a big part of Leisure Tech and all the team. But you've been on the road. Like, you're cutting my grass. I hosted Creek to Coast, but you've been out. Tell us a couple of the shows you've been out and doing.
I've been following the great man's footsteps.
They're big footsteps, very slow.
I've been watching Creek to Coast for years now, and I'm like, you know what, Scotty, he's living the life. Yeah. We've got to get a piece of this.
But you're telling me off air you've loved it.
It's been awesome. The places we're going, it's not places that I would pick offhand.
Yeah. Okay.
And some of the areas we've explored and some of the things that we've seen, and even the places they then take you when we get there, that's the hidden gems that the guides take you. You wouldn't go there and get a guided tour as a normal person. So when you get to go, and you'd know as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's the people you meet, the places you go, as you said. And what's been Leisure Tech's involvement? What products or how you been involved?
Leisure Tech is like the umbrella company for Mike Kuhlman, Trumer and Malenko. Yeah. And as Mike Kuhlman, we sponsor Your 4x4 or 4-wheel drive TV with Simon Christie. Yeah. And that's where we get to go away. We get to do all these awesome trips. And I've just come back from one at the Flinders Rangers.
Yeah, wow.
And we did the big trek from Brizzy, towing the van. Wow,
you did the full bit. So what did you take? What products of Mike Kuhlman did you?
So obviously we got the fridges, we had the power pack, we got the DC charger, we got all the leads and everything. We had the full kit ready to go, and obviously all the accessories that everyone else out in the market that's also available on ECC, by the way. We can go with the fridges and with our accessories.
So when you say ECC, I can see people out there going, ECC, Everything Caravan and Camping. .com.au. Jump online, it's all there.
Yep. Everything Caravan and Camping. We always abbreviate it down to ECC.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we actually got to check out down in the Flinders Range as well. And I'll bring this up because we have obviously ECC Parks.
Yes.
There is this awesome new ECC Park as part of the Flinders Rangers.
There you go. We should really do a little, instead of Jason Filippini, we could get you. But
mate, it was actually this nice little jam that we got there for footy finals weekend.
Oh, fancy that.
So they had the full wood fire pizza going. We had the big flat screen up. Everyone was coming in, check out footy finals, and then you just look down and it was overlooking Port Augusta on that side of the southern Flinders Rangers.
Wow.
So you look down, you see the huge, the solar farm looked like it was a lake.
Yeah, wow.
From where you are, just on the base of the mountain there, and then you drive up and they got forward drive tracks galore through there.
So have you got a quick, we've been blabbing, look at us go for minutes in our tech tip. What do we want to throw in there as a little tech tip as part of this podcast?
So the one thing I will say to everyone, before you go on these trips, 100% recommend having the right equipment. And that doesn't mean, I don't mean recovery gear, I don't mean things like that. I mean being prepared for what could go wrong. And that is we actually needed a couple first aid kits. Definitely recommend always having your snake bite kit in your car.
Good point.
because we were going there is warming up, and obviously with those warmer temperatures, all those little critters like to come out of the little hiding places.
Good tip.
And most cars these days from the dealership where we were going, they would get there. So it wasn't hardcore forward driving, it was more touring. So we were still getting to see these awesome spots, but going on nice carved tracks.
Yeah, nice.
But that's probably the one thing I would recommend.
Just take all those little bits and bobs, the things you don't think of, but if you need them, you need to have it right.
It's great to have the 4-inch lift kit, big tyres, and every bit of gear you can think of. But I can guarantee you,
don't forget the basics.
When you get stuck, those basics are going to save your life.
Good on you, Charlie. We've blabbed too long there. Tech Tips, we'll be chatting to you next week.
Yep. Thanks, Scotty.
Come on.
Oh, it's that time of the show. I just keep laughing every time. We do talk off air and it's quite funny, but this one, Caravan Park Confessions with Jason Filippini. How are you, brother?
Oh, Scotty, wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm dying to hear this story. And once again, for the folk out there listening, all around the world, they're tuning into our Everything Caravan and Camping podcast. Be warned. I should get you a little siren, just a whoop, 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 in case it's got some detail in it that not everyone wants to hear. But that's what we're about. We are open and free. If you've got any confessions as well, just a reminder, you can send us an email or jump onto the website because I want to hear them as well. But, mate, where are we going this week? And I've got an inkling. You go.
Oh, look, this week is going back to the old put the fingers in the ear, a little bit of a warning.
All right.
So here we go.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm walking around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon doing patrol through the park, and I noticed that the laundry door was closed. This door is never closed. It's always open, especially at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so I pull the roller door up, and here I find these late teenagers, so 17 to 19, going hard at it on the bench.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no! What are you doing, Lasso? And so I quickly pull the roller door down. I say, "Get dressed! Hurry up and get dressed, and come out and see me." So I'm standing there, and they actually finished. They stopped what they were doing. They didn't finish.
Oh, that's good.
Stopped what they were doing.
That's good. I'm glad you know that. Yep.
And I go, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, well, we're camping with our friends and family, and we had no privacy." Oh, this is a holiday park. You can't do that in the laundry.
No, not in the laundry. Come on now. Come on.
It's a clean room. It is the clean room.
It is the cleanest room there. We're cleaning things. Oh, who knows what we will get, mate. Another cracker. We'll speak to you next week, Jace.
See you, Scotty.
Come on. Let's go. Everything Caravan and Camping.
Oh, and it's great to get emails from the Everything Caravan and Camping family. As we say every week, if you want to be on the show or if you've got any questions or any tips or anything you want to know, email us. And if we get the chance, we will ring and put you on the podcast. We've got one. Mickey Bryan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Scotty.
Yeah, that's good. So you emailed in and you were telling me, and it stood out because you live in Bribie, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And you did a trip solo, towing the van all the way to Darwin. Obviously, you're a racing fanatic. Went up there for the racing carnival and then came all the way back solo.
Yeah, I did. Just got home and it was a great trip.
So tell us, firstly, what are you driving in and what are you towing?
I've got a 20-foot caravan, sunseeker caravan.
Yeah.
It's an off-road van, so it can take a bit of punishment.
Yeah.
And I bought myself a Ram 3500.
Hold on, a Ram 3500?
Yes, 3500.
How big is that thing? Oh my God!
It's a long wheelbase, so it's quite long. It's about a bit over a metre longer than the normal Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
So you can't just park them anywhere. You've got to pick your mark where you park.
Wow.
You can't take them to shopping centres.
No, I bet. Have you got it all decked out? Is the back of the Ram, the canopy, you got stuff in that? Is that all done or is that yet to be done?
Yeah, so I spent about 6 months getting it all decked out. First of all, I got all the suspension done. Got a whole new suspension, new tyres, had a lift on there because I've had back surgery, so I needed the ride to be really comfortable. So the guys at Big Dog Builds, am I allowed to mention their name?
Yeah,
Big Dog?
wow. Yeah, let's think about it. Big Dog Builds, you certainly can. So they did it all for you.
They did all the suspension for me and they just done a fantastic job and it rides just like sitting in a rocking chair. So it looks after my back really well. So they did all that for me and they also put on a boat loader for my tinning.
Yep.
And then after the guys there finished with it, I sent it to Off-Road Creative down at on the south side of Brisbane.
Yeah, yep.
Coomera, that area.
Yep.
And they built a canopy for me. And, the canopy, you can sort of order whatever you want. They'll build it to your specs.
So, I mean, while we've got you, all the listeners out there want to know, so what have you put on this 3500 Ram? We will get to your destination, but I'm just intrigued with the size of this vehicle. I'm imagining everything that opens and shuts is on the back.
Yeah, well, basically it has. It's got everything, including the kitchen sink. So we have 80 litres of water underneath the chassis. You've got your own water. You can wash your car with it if you like.
Yeah.
It's got hooked to a pump and a hose reel, so you can wash your car or wash your caravan with it.
Yeah.
It's got 2 fridges. One's an upright fridge. I think it's about 130 litre upright fridge, and then it's got a fridge freezer on the other side. You can turn that into a deep freeze.
Wow.
So because I like my fishing, I've got an ice machine. I make my own ice and I keep that in the deep freezer. So I've got fresh ice every day for the boat trip.
Of course you do. And what about cooking-wise? Do you cook in the van or the back of the Ram? Both?
I cook in the car mostly. It's got an air fryer. It has a toaster. It's got a coffee machine.
Oh, wow.
It's got a double induction hot plate, so you can be cooking the roast in the air fryer and getting the veggies and steaming the veggies on the hot plate, on the double induction hot plate.
Stop it. Hey, Mick, can you do me a favour? Next time you go anywhere, invite me.
It can do.
Oh, it sounds amazing. So you went all the way to Darwin. Give me a couple of your favourite spots on the way there. You stopped. Anywhere that you think, I've got to come back here? That was great on the way.
Mount Isa is always a good stop. It's a great town, Mount Isa. There's lots of history there, and if you know someone, you can probably organise an underground tour to get down, get below the surface and have a look what goes on down there and see these massive trains and things that work down there. That's amazing, Mount Isa, and lots of history. And if you're into gold prospecting, there's areas out there you can go and run your detector over and find bits of gold.
Oh, that'll be good.
Mount Isa is a good spot. We stayed at Tennant Creek, or I stayed at Tennant Creek for a few days.
Yep.
It's a wild outback sort of a town, but about 50 kilometres from Tennant Creek, there's a designated fossicking area. The government puts aside a certain area that you can go and look for some gold there. There are old gold mines that have been closed down, and there's still gold there. So I spent a few days there, which was really peaceful. It's called the Warrego Gold Mine Fossicking Area.
Oh, now are you going to tell all of our podcast family? There's millions tuning in, Mick. Did you find any gold?
Not enough to retire on, but there are bits and pieces there. But
love it.
We live in hope. That keeps us going.
Yeah. And the big, you got the 20-foot sunseeker.
20-foot sunseeker off-road. It's really good.
How did that handle the trip? No dramas there with the van behind?
No dramas at all. It's got it's got 200-hour batteries, so that's enough to go off-grid because it charges up during the day with the sun, so you can stay off-grid. And all the cooking and so on I do in the Ram because it's got 400 amp hours of battery in there.
You're good.
It'll never go flat. Yeah.
You do have a wife, don't you? She probably
I do, but she didn't want to go this trip. She worked out quite good.
And what's on the bucket list for Michael? Where is somewhere you haven't been? You want to take the Ram and the van?
My next trip's going to be to the Flinders Rangers in South Australia.
Nice.
I've heard all about them, and I'd rather do trips like 2 months or 3 months and come back home and get yourself ready for the next trip rather than do one big long trip away.
Yeah.
Do trips in 2 or 3 months. That sort of suits me better.
Yeah, perfect.
And then if you do something on that smaller trip and you find that you need to change something on your car or your van, you can do it. Whereas if you're on the road, it's hard to get things done. There's always a big waiting list and so on.
Nice. All right, Mick, if you can text us back in or send us an email like you did, and we'll let the whole podcast family know, and we're all coming with you with the Ram, all right? And
no problem. No problem.
Hey, Michael, thanks for emailing in. It's great to chat with you, and keep us posted. Keep sending us emails after you've done your trip and let us know how you get on.
I will do, Scott. Good on you. Thanks for having me on.
Good. I hope you are enjoying this, our Everything Caravan and Camping podcast. Time of the show that I actually really, and I know all of our listeners look forward to, apart from other things in the show, is catching up with our fire to fork man, our chef extraordinaire, the cook, Harry Fisher from Western Australia. How are you, my friend?
I'm going bloody magic, mate. Very, very good.
That is good.
Loving it over here.
Now, a couple of questions. We've got one there. A couple of folk want to know, if you're leaving to go on a 2-week adventure, what's a bit of gear in terms of cooking you do not leave home without?
Mate, I'll tell you what, I'll give you my little essentials.
Yes.
Which I think, and this is for fire cooking because I love fire cooking.
Yep. I know we've spoken about it, but just tell us again, what do you love about fire cooking? Harry, what is it?
For me, camping isn't camping without a fire.
Yeah.
So I will always go way out of my way to make sure I've got a fire. And then I used to carry around gas burners and gas bottles and all that kind of stuff in the back of my car. And it just seemed to get in the way a lot when I suddenly realized that I've got this fantastic heat source in front of me that's free, that I don't have to refill, that if I need more of, I can just go and pull it out of the bush, just go get a bit more firewood or whatever.
Yep.
So for me, it seemed crazy not to use this heat source sitting in front of me to cook dinner. And I actually haven't carried a gas burner in 6 years now.
There you go.
So I am completely fire reliant. And then, actually later on in this podcast, I'll give you a recipe that doesn't require fire.
Oh, I love it. Let's go back to, I'll cut you off there. I'll keep asking 1,000 questions, but your gear list. Let's go to your gear list, Harry. Yeah.
All right. Gear list. Now, this is for fire cooking, as I said. Number one, get some welding gloves. They're only $10 from Bunnings, and they make a huge difference with just a bit of heat proofing. The other thing is make sure your utensils are a bit longer than usual. You don't want short tongs and things like that when you're cooking on a fire because you will burn your hands. Obviously, for going to the toilet and whatnot, you're going to need a shovel. But it's also really useful for rearranging your fire, getting those coals, burying it afterwards, all that kind of stuff is really, really important to have a shovel. Some sort of a good grill plate, which turns a fire into a barbecue. Some sort of a platform is really important. Make sure you've got good knives. They don't have to be amazing. I've heard people say that the most dangerous knife is a blunt knife. I've never cut myself with a blunt knife. Done it plenty of times with a sharp knife. But doesn't mean I'm not going to have a bloody sharp knife with me.
Yeah.
I love to have a camp oven with me. They're inexpensive and they're just a fun device to make, your oven stuff, really.
Yeah.
So, most people camping don't have an oven, so this really, really broadens your horizon.
Wow.
I love to have a wok instead of a fry pan, and that's because it's a bit higher sided. Yeah, and if you knock it a bit, it's a bit more forgiving, and you can cook a lot more things there. You can do your stir fries and your whatever. So and you can still do your bacon and eggs in it. So that's a big one for me. And just the humble billy. Yeah, I love a billy with a spout because you can drain your pasta through it and you can drain rice through it and all that kind of stuff. And they're just bulletproof. But I would say make sure it's a stainless or a tin billy, not an aluminium one, because I've left my aluminium billy on the fire a couple of times and they don't return. You just pull the top off and the rest of it's still sitting in the fire. It's got a pretty low melting temp.
That is a good tip. And mate, recipe-wise, did I hear we're not cooking with a fire today? Did I hear that?
We're not cooking with a fire today, mate.
Interested.
So this is a weird one, and it's one that I've done. So this is for people in dry climates like where I am. WA is a great one for it. And it's traditional biltong or, beef jerky.
Oh.
So what you do is you get yourself a nice bit of rump, slice it up into sort of about double the thickness slices you want. So big, long, probably 2 centimetre, 3 centimetre thick slices. Spray a bit of vinegar on it, and then just get a bit of a mix of salt, white pepper, not black pepper, and chili if you like it, and a bit of ground coriander. And don't worry, it doesn't taste like soap like some people find that normal coriander tastes like soap. The coriander seed is completely different. Then you want to rub that on your meat, and then get some paper clips and stick them through the ends of the meat to use them as hooks. So you bend those paper clips out so they're like a double-sided hook, and hang it inside your tent. And it sounds like it would stink and it would be gross and there'd be flies everywhere. Because of the vinegar, the flies completely leave it alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell at all. And if you leave it in a tent with the fly screen open, just right at the top of the tent, it only takes about 48 hours. So if you're at camp and you want to make yourself some really good driving snacks for, particularly for remote areas and stuff, you can usually get a good rump from a local station or farmer or any butcher or whatever. You'll make yourself, honestly, a couple of $100 worth of biltong for about $25. I'm a huge biltong fan. My favorite driving and travel snack. So I decided to make it myself, and it just works incredibly in a tent.
How easy is that? A little tip probably too. Tell your partner you're doing it. I can imagine me hanging all this meat up and the good old cheese and kisses coming back and what on earth has he done? What is he doing? But wow, that's amazing. Make your own biltong whilst you're on the road.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times and it works really well. I even did road Biltong once.
There you go. Oh, Harry, once again, you've got people licking their lips. You're an absolute legend. Now, if you want to get hold of Harry's book, Fire to Fork Adventure Cooking, you can do that online. everythingcaravancamping.com.au. I look forward to this every week. I'll speak to you next week, Harry.
Looking forward to it, mate. Can't wait.
Now, don't forget to head to the Everything Caravan and Camping podcast page at everythingcaravancamping.com.au. Sign up to the newsletter for your chance to win a $50 voucher to spend on the ECC Marketplace. Now, don't forget to catch up on all of our ECC episodes. Go to where you get your podcasts, or it's pretty simple. Head over to the website, everythingcaravancamping.com.au.
Let's go.
Okay, where we're heading this week, we are back up to my neck of the woods, Sunshine Coast, Queensland. And we're going to a pretty popular one, Mooloolaba Beach Holiday Park, and we're catching up with he runs the park just about on the sunny coast, Jason Filippini. How you going, brother?
I'm excellent, Scotty. How are you today?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. It's a little bit damp over the last few weeks, but I did sneak out. I love to brag. We popped out, I did some filming up north and went up and got a heap of big barramundi, so you'll be jealous to know that we
very jealous.
Caught and released a couple of big barras. But, mate, Mooloolaba Beach Holiday Park, it's an absolute ripper. Tell us about it.
Oh, Scotty, Mooloolaba Beach Holiday Park. It is one of the newest parks on the Sunshine Coast. It's an old location, but only 3 years ago, we knocked it over completely and we got rid of everything and started fresh.
Wow.
It was a greenfield site and we built it out of the ground. There's new infrastructure, there's new roads, there's new amenities, there's new office and accommodation. It is one of the newest parks on the Sunshine Coast.
And who are we inviting? Your caravans, campers, motorhomes, the whole kit and caboodle?
Yep, so we're only caravan spaces and tents and motorhomes. We don't have any cabins.
Yep.
It's only 59 sites. So it's a small park. It's situated just behind the surf club, across the road from the wharf, right on the beach.
Wow.
It is the amazing of amazing locations.
Well, need I ask, coffee, foods, restaurants, if you're right there, like for folks that haven't been to the sunny coast or Mooloolaba, you literally have it all. You could eat a different cuisine every night.
You could eat in a different country every night.
That was easier. A country every night's easier than cuisine. I don't even know if I said it right. Cuisine, food. I should have just said food. But yeah, coffees and restaurants surrounded.
You've got alcohol, you've got coffee, you've got bars. Oh, we love every Australian loves a good bar. We've got surf clubs, we've got restaurants, we've got supermarkets. It is all there. It is one of the one-stop locations. It is heavily booked all the time, so you've got to book ahead, but it is an experience that every caravanner should put on their to-do list.
Yeah, there you go. And I know Underwater World there, is it Sea Life, is it called, for those that want to do something there?
It's Sea Life just there. They are great. They do a lot of conservation work, and many days in the week you will see them walking across the road releasing turtles and stuff like that. So you can go and actually visit their attraction, or you can actually just be part of it, and they'll be doing releases. It is really getting right involved, right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, wow. Now, people I can hear texting, ringing, distances for those from Brizzy, everyone sort of knows Mooloolaba. 100 Ks to the sunny coast from Brizzy, over 1,000 from Sydney, and 1,800 odd from Victoria. So if you're listening down there and you're thinking, oh, Jason sold me this to the Mooloolaba Park, that's sort of how long it had taken. And Jason, I guess veering off a little bit, for those that have got, say, from Victoria, a big trip, you'd encourage them with their towing vans, make it a 2 or 3 day trip, just relax, do your little bits, and be parked up before dark each night.
Oh, absolutely, Scotty. I think from a caravanner's perspective, and I know a lot of people towing caravans, I meet thousands every year, no more than 400 Ks a day. Yeah. If you can keep in that sort of window, 200 to 400 kilometres a day, the caravan and holiday parks around Australia are generally situated around that sort of distance. So if you plan your trip well, you can actually get there safely and you can do it so that everyone goes home after a great experience.
Yeah, perfect. And for those towing boats, but probably not the ideal, but you don't need to bring a boat. There's plenty of hire boats around. Swan Boat Hire we often talk about when we're doing our sunny coast parks. Off the rocks at Mooloolaba there, good brim fishing. They get plenty of whiting. You've got the Mooloolaba boat ramp at the Coast Guard there. If you do bring a bigger boat or you've got friends with boats, good access to sneak out and catch yourself some Spanish mackerel or some snapper or sweet lip or parrot. And the beach fishing, as I said, very, very good. And if you don't catch any seafood, I know Mooloolaba Seafood's down past Sea Life, the fresh, straight off the trawlers, Jace. The freshest seafood anywhere.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, Scotty. I used to get their mixed reef. It would be caught in the morning, and you'd eat it straight out of the fryer. Amazing.
Yeah, no, true. All right, mate. Mooloolaba Beach Holiday Park, as we always say, if you're thinking of coming, it's only a small park. It's just been renoed. They've just taken it over. Everything's new. Jump onto the website or give the team a call before heading up, Jace.
Absolutely. It's one of the busiest parks because it's so small and because the amazing location, and everyone in the know knows it's the place that you want to tick off your bucket list.
Yeah, lovely. Good on you, mate. All right, buddy, we will catch up. You and I are going to be chatting regularly over the next few months. Good on you, buddy.
Thanks, Scotty.
And in terms of parks, there's 65 throughout Australia and New Zealand. Now, if you head to everythingcaravancamping.com.au, you can purchase an ECC Parks Family Parks Travel Reward membership. Now, it's only $30. Now, this membership, the things it gives you is crazy. 10% off your stay at all of the ECC Parks and Family Parks destinations throughout Aussie here and over in New Zealand. You get discounts and deals while you travel with their rewards. You get the third night free. You get voucher. You get an entry card to their frequent camper competition. So, for $30, you can't go wrong. So, be sure to jump onto the website and check it out.
Let's go.
Well, that's it for this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed our podcast because I know I've had an absolute blast. Now, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. We want to get you onto the show. If you're on a trip at the moment, you're planning a trip, if you've got any questions about anything we've covered, we want to hear from you. Now, you can email us at podcast@everythingcaravancamping.com.au. Be safe out on the roads. See you next time.
Come on. Let's go. They've got everything. Everything caravan and camping. Let's go. They've got everything.